watching the Christmas tree outside of Fox. Got burned.
How's the Christmas been thrown down?
Leave it alone.
Leave Christmas alone.
Cheers. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. All of the things.
Happy Yule.
Happy Yule.
Happy solstice.
Yes. Grab your Christmas cocktail and join us at the same time. And cheers! You're coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Hey.
Woo! Secret family recipe. Tunny Winery. It's the best wine in all of Tun. Let's put it right here and have an ad read.
On the back it says, Tunny rhymes with Sunny.
All right, never mind. I don't want to be sponsored by these people. Welcome back to another iteration of Elle and Chris, Corner of Doom.
Did I sign up for this?
I don't know if you signed up for the name, but you signed up for this video, So we've got another article for you. I don't know why the videos I've asked you to be on have ended up being articles, but...
Because I'm smart.
It's true. It's because you're an academic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, who do I know that has a PhD? Oh, Elizabeth.
Since all articles on the internet require
Yes.
rigorous peer-reviewed research,
Rigorous looking at.
MarioMurillo.org.
So, before we jump into the article today, I wanted to give a very quick and special shout out to my first ever patron on Patreon, Dark Lasagna. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And it's a huge milestone for me having my first patron ever. So shout out to you, my friend. And this one goes out to you. That's where our article comes from today, is MarioMurillo.org. And I didn't know who Mario Murillo was. So I looked him up, and I'm probably putting a picture up right now, but...
What I want to know is why on the website is he surrounded in like chrismation of holy light?
Here, this is on his website, so let's see what he says about himself here.
Yeah.
Mario's voice has been heard by millions around the world.
It's a Mario.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's a Mario.
He kind of looks like Mario, like a really run-down Christian version of him.
A really Midwest version. Mario, we're from the Midwest.
Oh, God. So his voice has been heard by millions around the world, bringing a message that zeroes in on the hurts of society. The hurts of society?
Pains?
The boo-boos of...
Wounds?
The boo-boos of our culture. His simple declaration, come and see. He is passionate about revival in America, spiritual warfare, prayer and healing, and Christian and political leadership.
There's so many ands.
And prayer and healing and prayer and Christian and political and leadership. It's like,
Every other word is
who
and.
wrote this? Off the bat, to me, he sounds like somebody that I grew up with.
Okay.
Does he sound like anything to you?
Sociopath.
Okay. We're not psychologists.
Oh, yeah. It's not a medical diagnosis.
He's a sociopath, allegedly. The article comes from his website, which looks like it's been puked up by an 80s computer.
It looks like a website for a gym, to be honest.
It does. It looks like a CrossFit website. And the article that we're reading is called Leaving Christ Out of Christmas Sets You Up for the Ultimate Letdown.
No.
The Ultimate Letdown! By Mario Murillo, December 19th, 2021. Christmas. Why don't we take another drink of the Christmas cocktail? The one thing I do want to say is the kerning on this is absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
Every paragraph is just one long word because of the kerning.
That's the worst.
All right. Suicide rates jump at Christmas time. So do rates of domestic violence and depression. The left loves to blame the Christian myth of Christmas for these tragedies, but the real culprit is not the true celebrations of Christmas, but the fake ones. Leaving Christ out of Christmas sets you up for the ultimate letdown.
It just sounds like a wrestling match.
The
The ultimate. We're going to have domestic violence. We're going to have depression, suicide. Like, what kind of show is this?
I don't know. Mario Murillo just comes out in his like patriotic Christmas wear. It's like the war on Christmas. Christmas tree gate 2021.
Is he like a wrestler? That's what I'm picturing.
That's what I'm picturing.
Okay.
He's like going up against Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Got
okay.
it. Same page.
So just for future reference in this, left has been capitalized, meaning that he views it as an entity in and of itself, which I've never seen someone capitalize it before, but I guess maybe that makes sense. I don't know.
It's Mario's personal grammar rules.
Hmm.
Laws of physics break down like the Matrix when you come onto his blog.
The article goes on. The real question is, if Christmas is so bad, why don't they just leave it alone? The answer is that they can't. Peace on earth and goodwill to men is hard to let go of.
Huh?
I don't know.
Okay, to me, this reads like a sentence in Winnie the Pooh. Something about it. Peace on earth and goodwill towards men is hard to let go of, said Pooh to Piglet.
The real question is, if Christmas is so bad, why don't they just leave it alone? The answer?
Well, Piglet, peace on earth and goodwill towards men is hard to let go of.
Where's my honey? The reason the left doesn't leave Christmas alone is because they can't. Peace on earth and goodwill to men is hard to let go of. Or is it that Christmas will not let go of them?
Oh, that's Winnie the Pooh for sure.
Yo!
Whoa, that is some philosophical shit.
He's dropping knowledge bombs.
Like, I can't love Christmas and that Christmas won't let go of me. Wow.
What I really love, though, is his follow-up to this question. So his question is this, what he thinks is just this insightful, like, or is it that Christmas will not let go of them? And then he just goes, anyway, the accusation is bogus.
No one edited this for him.
No.
Maybe someone did edit it, and they're just also equally
Maybe it's
poor writer.
his wife or something.
She's not a good writer either.
She's like, Mario, this is good. I love this one.
Maybe she added this sentence.
She probably did. I just think you need to let him know that the accusation is bogus.
I don't know, it sounds like Mario to me, I guess.
Yeah.
I like in tune with Mario.
It does feel like when I look at his face, I can see that he wrote this paragraph. Not only is this leftist argument bogus.
Lowercase L.
Yeah, now it's lowercase.
Just wait to the next sentence. I'm telling you, it's straight up anarchy up in here. Grammar. Oh, it's the first sentence.
It is the first letter.
Oh, my bad.
He's not following his own grammar rules. Not only is this leftist argument bogus, it's a spectacular hypocrisy. All right, I think we need to stop here because I already forget what leftist argument he's talking about.
The Christian myth of Christmas is responsible for violence, depression, suicide, domestic violence, depression, and suicide.
Oh, okay.
I'm just thinking about Pooh and Piglet. Oh my god, I just accidentally read the next sentence.
Stop reading it.
I'm sorry.
Leftists believe in something called cultural appropriation, and that is in quotes on the website. So leftists believe in something called cultural appropriation, which heavily implies that it's not real.
Because cultural appropriation is a belief. Like, what is that? It's just a societal phenomenon.
Let's see what he says. Just in case you haven't updated your list of things to be offended by. Oh, thanks for looking out for me, Mario Murillo. Just in case you haven't updated your list of things to be offended by, let me explain. I feel like we need to get into like the music part of this. Boom, 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 boom. Here is their tedious definition. Cultural appropriation is the inappropriate or unacknowledged adoption of an element or elements of no one culture identity by members of another culture identity.
This can be controversial when members of a dominant culture appropriate from minority cultures. Thank you.
So we probably have to read that again because I didn't understand what it was saying. I was too worried about the beats. So in case you haven't added to your list of things to be offended by, here is the leftists' tedious definition of cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation is the inappropriate or unacknowledged adoption of an element or elements of one culture or identity by members of another culture or identity. This can be controversial when members of a dominant culture appropriate from minority cultures. All of that is true, and he forgot to put in what makes something cultural appropriation a lot of the time is that the culture that it's being appropriated from is often discriminated against because of the thing that's being appropriated.
Yeah, that's what, when I've seen this argument, that's what people don't get. It's in this definition that it's controversial when there's a power differential and the culture with greater power and influence is borrowing from the culture with less power and influence. I like that. I like dominant, but I wouldn't use minority, because a lot of times it's actually number-wise a majority culture, but with less power, right? So that's when it's controversial, is when it's taken through a power difference and there's no reparations.
I feel like there needs to be, for just the average reader, an explanation of why it's controversial. You know, like he just tries to give the definition in sort of basic terms to generally just confuse people, because it's throwing things out there that require further explanation.
Oh, he doesn't get it. I skimmed.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't know that.
You've
It's because he doesn't understand that.
Oh, it just strikes me as like really lying. It's like lying to the readers. Manipulative, yes. Cultural appropriation then happens when another culture borrows any of these cultural elements, typically without asking permission or crediting the source culture. Appropriation
partially true.
Right,
to his credit.
Right, like he's getting some of the elements here
without asking.
Right. Appropriation also tends to involve some misuse of cultural elements. Yes.
Okay.
So I feel like he's still just giving the definition here. I feel like he's building it all up to like slap it down in a minute. So what does the left do? Follow their own guidelines? Of course not. They appropriate Christmas. Do not give credit to its source, and go even further by mocking, blaspheming, and even banning the phrase Merry Christmas. And meanwhile, they celebrate Christmas.
I mean, Christianity is the dominant religion in the United States. You can't appropriate from the dominant culture. That's called subversion. It's highly recommended.
Add it to your to-do list.
Checklist, subversion.
Subverse today.
And in what way do they not credit its source?
I don't actually know, because I feel like Christians who celebrate Christmas so heartily, like this guy, are not recognizing that it comes from pagan traditions.
100%.
Which would be crediting its source. So
yeah, good call. Yeah, Christians don't credit the source.
No, they don't. They like to believe that it all came when baby Jesus popped out of Mary and the three wise men gave him his gifts. But no.
It's 100% a pagan tradition, so I think Christians are the ones who are appropriating, literally through the colonization of Europe, which destroyed many, many root cultures.
Yes.
Which is part of why white supremacy is so rampant today.
And I also want to point out that he is now claiming that leftists appropriate Christmas because they don't like Christmas, but they celebrate Christmas. But a minute ago, he was just saying leftists believe in something called cultural appropriation, as if he does not believe in it. But now he's invoking the properties of appropriation to make his point about his religious holiday. The discordant nature of those 2 points is not lost on me.
No, I thought you did a great job.
Thank you. Murillo goes...
What is this shit?
I don't know.
Look, it's like if she's got a drink, and she's drunk.
She's
drunk at the office Christmas party.
Oh, yeah. She hates her life.
She's an immoral slut. You know,
bro. She partied too hard by the looks of that hat.
Yeah.
That's some bad hat, Harry. So he goes on to say, somehow I cannot bring myself to be angry about this. Really doesn't show in the fact that you fucking wrote an article about it. Somehow I cannot bring myself to be angry about this. That is because it carries its own punishment. All of the hype of this time of the year is banal and empty. The victims of happy holidays are chasing a mirage. They frantically party, trying to drain every last drop out of some nameless and pointless exercise.
Dang. This is one joyless motherfucker.
Holy shit. And if you thought this was joyless, you wait for the rest of his argument.
Oh, no, you always say that.
Why is he hating on party? He's like, they party, trying to drain the universe juice out of their soul.
The victims of happy holidays.
Hey, happy holidays to you, Bertha. Your frantic partying is draining me of my essence. It's just like...
It's like the Dark Crystal. Happy Holidays is the Dark Crystal.
It is. So he continues, all the while, 2 forces are striving inside of them.
Oh, really?
The supernatural pull of Christmas.
Huh?
No, this supernatural pull of Christmas. So that's one of the things that's just hurting heathens inside during the Christmas holiday. The supernatural pull of Christmas and the degrading force of a Christless Christmas that carries all of the decency, promise, and emptiness of a perfume commercial. Wow. This guy's a poet.
There's so many assumptions here.
There really are.
And I had no idea that the supernatural pull of Christmas is, I thought it was just, general anxiety from the state of the world. Little did I know.
I just thought I didn't want to be with my family on Christmas. To not even get into arguments, but apparently the supernatural pull of the Christmas holiday is at war within me.
And apparently a Christless Christmas is slowly degrading my life force once again. How does that happen? Did I consent to that?
I don't think so, but I feel like this is a disrespect to all perfume commercials.
What is he even talking about?
He's like, the promise and emptiness of a perfume commercial.
I mean, they're a little, listless, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's a commercial for a scent. What are you gonna do? You just put hot people in a bathing pool, and they're like... And it's not a pool, and it's not a bathing suit, it's a bathing pool. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's keep going.
Wait, before we move on...
Okay.
I'm just perpetually fascinated by the obsession with punishment that we see in this article and in other Christian things as well. Yeah. It's just like, these are some closeted BDSM loving humans, and they should just express themselves and be happy with, instead of, repressing it.
They need to take some notes from the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. Get on with their lives.
I don't remember that plot line.
And if you don't, here it is. It is a December to remember, the announcer blares. But why? Because they then show you the blindfolded spouse led out of the house to be surprised by a gleaming new car. Oh, so he's still talking about commercials here.
Commercials, okay.
I didn't know what he was going on about. Now compare that materialistic delight to the ecstasy of wise men kneeling before the newborn King of Kings.
What is he even talking about?
What the actual fuck? He's like, now compare this materialistic commercial to the beauty of Turkish delight.
I'm just going to get on your channel and talk about the hidden desires of all these people, because all I hear is wise men kneeling before a king.
Yeah.
And I just, degradation kink.
Degradation kink for sure.
Apparently that's the flavor that I bring to your YouTube.
Apparently that is the L flavor. And he even uses, the ecstasy of wise men kneeling before their king.
Yeah, I'm just go for it, dude. Live out your fantasies. We can all see it.
Maybe the first nativities were the first dungeons. Were the first BDSM dungeons. Nativity scenes. You're not okay,
no.
Let's move on.
I'm trying to make the connection.
Because he's the wise men kneeling before the king, and it's the kink in the dungeon.
Oh.
And you put them together, and what do you have?
Oh.
An old BDSM dungeon.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, you got a medieval style theme.
Yes,
going. Okay,
exactly.
Cool.
Christmas is a collision of opposite emotions. One is fun, and the other is joy. Hey, newsflash, hot take. Fun and joy are opposite now. As told by Mario Murillo.
It's Mario!
I don't think they're as opposite as Murillo thinks they are.
Mario really embodies the Christmas spirit. I mean, Nintendo Mario.
Yeah, he does.
Look at that little jolly man.
He's always happy, no matter how many times Peach gets abducted and he defeats Bowser and his brother's an idiot. Okay, so it looks like he's going to go on to describe fun and joy. And we're going to learn why they are opposite.
Great.
Fun is circumstantially based. Fun happens only when things go right. Apparently, their idea of fun is that you go to the office party for the fun of getting drunk and cheating on your spouse.
Because that's what happens in the movies?
Fun always exact a terrible toll. And when reality sets in, fun instantly dissipates.
Is this what you learned?
No.
Okay.
I did not learn about... Well, actually, yes. Yeah, I learned this.
Oh my God.
The preachers that I learned it from were a little more tactful than this, which is why I didn't immediately recognize it. But on further investigation, they just didn't use the word fun. They weren't like, fun is bad! Like screaming at a bunch of teenagers, don't have fun good now. They were just like, you need to follow the word of God and help your friends get on this. And if you're going off to parties and getting drunk and having sex before marriage, that's, God is, I don't fucking know. Yeah, they talked about this shit. Look, and even this idea of fun always exacts a terrible toll.
That's what I'm saying.
It's another punishment thing, and that is what they taught us, that those things were going to lead us to damnation, essentially.
What in the...
Yeah. So he's not talking about hell here, but I'm getting some hell vibes.
Yeah.
He's keeping it sort of on the surface level, like human experience side of things rather than the spiritual happenings afterlife. God, I'm having such a hard time talking.
It's because this is asinine.
Yeah. But I'm really getting some evangelical vibes.
No wonder it's so hard for you, baby.
What's hard for me?
It's hard for you. You never had to have any of those things in a normal way.
It's true.
No wonder you're chasing some asymptote of fun instead of just, having true enjoyment. Jesus Christ.
So let's hear what he has to say about joy. Joy is from within. It is an artisan well that is not based on circumstances or how things are going.
I mean, I get that.
I mean, sure, but I feel like it's still not opposites. Like, even though fun is sort of... I kind of agree. These definitions are not wrong, although I would not put in the whole getting drunk and cheating on your spouse bit to the fun.
A lot of assumptions.
Yeah. And I would definitely not say it always exacts a terrible toll. Mm-hmm. But it is sort of that immediate gratification, whereas joy is definitely like a deeper level of like, you're not necessarily having fun in the moment, but you are joyful of your life experience.
It's extremely tantric.
But I feel like joy can also come, usually comes with like a sense of fun. If you're feeling joyful, I feel like you are having fun in that moment. Not that fun strikes joy, but if you are feeling joyful for whatever reason, fun is there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with his basic definitions, right? Like this concept of joy, you see it in a lot of philosophies. You see it in Tantra. You see it in, like, it's not used the word joy, right? But there's this idea of an impermeable, inalienable bliss that's like part of your core essence that everybody has access to. He says it's not based on circumstances or how things are going. Yeah, like I feel like this is a big part of my philosophy, and what I try to cultivate in my life is just being okay, even if things are shit. So it's not that I don't agree with this, but it's the moralistic implications that there's something wrong with one or the other, with fun.
Yeah. He goes on to say about joy, joy rises to conquer everything that is going on in your life. It's a relentless hope that tells you, no matter what happens, everything will turn out all right.
Okay, well, I don't believe it. That's no.
So everything but that part for the joy.
I mean, like it's all right because you are all right, but it's not about like, you got to ride through the hard stuff.
Yeah.
That's resilience.
Yeah. I mean, this this relentless hope narrative really reads to me as like just having hope in God and not worrying about earthly affairs because eventually I'm going to make it to heaven. So I feel like that's where that's coming from. Where a lot of evangelical Christians say they get their joy from the gift that God gave them, which is Jesus' sacrifice. So that is the relentless hope that tells you you're going to be okay. So I think that he's like crossing the wires there.
Okay.
With what Jesus. Joy is and what Jesus is, yeah.
Because it's going to be all right because I don't have to worry about the earthly stuff. I just bypass all that. Just bypass all things, all reality, and straight to heaven.
Straight to the most
as
joyful
long as I
place.
don't have too much fun.
You're going to die and get to the pearly gates, and St. Peter's going to be like, now, did you have fun? He'll be like, no, sir. No, I swear I didn't have fun. St. Peter looks at his book. Well, it looks here like you went to a Christmas party in 1992, got drunk, and slept with your neighbor. Anyway.
Then you go to the fun place. That's called hell.
Yeah. The maddening crowd is in a frenzy to forget their problems during the holidays. That's true. Sure, that's fine. I'm a part of that. I would like to forget my problems. But the artificial message simply deepens their disappointment. They are going through the motions of it being a wonderful time of year, but for the life of them, they cannot say why.
What's his sample size?
His friends.
Who are all Christian.
Yeah. This is a conversation they had one night after Bible study.
And this was a song that was written in 1952.
Here's some more.
I would never say this is the most wonderful time of the year. Who's saying using that. Just Bing Crosby or whoever that is.
Who cares? It was so long ago. That's the point. Nobody talks like that. The genuine spirit of Christmas, on the other hand, is supernatural. Here's that word again.
Why is he using that word?
What's your proof, guy? What's your proof, Mario? What's going on?
Is this an evangelical word? Why is he using this word?
Supernatural, it's not strictly evangelical, but I think because Christ is supposed to be in Christmas, and Christ by definition, or the evangelical definition, is supernatural, I think that's what he's saying.
I just wouldn't have thought that they would use that word because to me it feels very pagan.
Yeah.
I'm like Mothman, you know.
It's a very magical time of year.
Supernatural, like aliens.
Yeah, it does have sort of that vibe. It drives society to stop everything and listen. Even though despots have done all they can to ban it, Christmas keeps imposing itself over the affairs of mankind. Here's Christmas acting like a person again, as if it could impose itself over the affairs of mankind.
What? No one's trying to stop Christmas. Like I thought you had a problem with people doing Christmas even when they're not Christians, right? Like isn't Christmas just going because it's our dominant culture? Mm-hmm. And that's what happens?
No, it's because it's supernatural and it keeps imposing itself over the affairs of mankind. It has forced truces in the middle of wars.
What?
It has inspired the most beautiful music ever to fall on human ears.
Completely subjective.
Christmas music is the most beautiful music.
Was he drunk when he wrote this?
He had to have been. Listening to Christmas music on the radio. He's like smoking a cigarette and he's like, it's false truces in the middle of the wars. Bing Crosby's just going at him. The most wonderful. He's like, yes. It's the best music ever. Christmas is, as Charles Dickens said in A Christmas Carol, I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time, when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely, and to think of people below them as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave, and not another race of creatures bound on other journeys. So, I have no idea what he's talking about anymore.
This is what people who are shitty writers, I saw this all the time teaching. This is not a sentence. This is an intro and a long ass quote, and no explanation of why he's using this quote. This is what somebody does when they don't understand the quote. Yeah. They just dump it there and they want you to understand. I had to force so many kids to explain themselves about why they're using their quote. I'm like, your paper will write itself if every time you use a quote, you just explain why you use the quote.
Yeah.
You'll sound smart.
Yep.
You will have many words. That's literally all you do.
And it's not hard either. Like, what are you getting from this quote? Because this is just a blog. You don't need, like, your expertise written into this. You can just have your take on it. And it's like, he does not even do the bare minimum.
And I hate this quote. It's like, it's so stratified.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, oh, people see
think
the
of people
poor
below
people
them as they really were fellow passengers. They are.
They are. Everybody is. As if they
and
really...
not another race of creatures. They're not.
They're not.
Like, it's racist bullshit.
Really weird, like, nationalist talking here, classist talking.
Maybe he only feels that at Christmas.
Feels which part?
Maybe he's believes that Christmas is about no longer viewing yourself as above everybody else. That's what Christmas inspires. So that means that Mr. Mario is normally feeling superior.
Yeah, right.
When the rest of us are just out here humaning with each other and like appreciating.
He's like, this is
difference.
the one time of year that I acknowledge that you're also a human.
That's the joy of Christmas.
Yeah. It's the most wonderful time. He's like, I'm gracing you with my awareness. Why aren't you more grateful?
I told you he's a sociopath.
Yeah, it really feels like it. All right, here we are at the end of the thing. You are at the fork in the road, and it's up to you to either choose a force or a farce. That's one of the dumbest lines I've ever heard. He really thinks he did something there.
He thinks he's a good writer.
Yeah, he does. If you choose to worship the counterfeit, be prepared for a giant letdown.
Giant letdown.
Giant letdown. Ultimate letdown.
I'm like, this is not that bad. Like, if this is my consequence, I'm kind of like, I'm okay with letdown. It happens all the time.
I can sit with it.
I can sit with that.
I can sit with it, Mario, because I'm full of joy, and life letdowns don't stop me from having a fun time.
It wasn't your thesis that letdowns don't interrupt your joy if you have the joy of Christ in your heart. So
I think if we asked Mario what his thesis statement was, he would say Gesundheit. So he says, be prepared for a giant letdown if you choose to worship the counterfeit, meaning, you know, all the leftists who are celebrating Christmas without actually being a part of like the religious part of it. And it's like, you're the only one worshiping something for this holiday. Everybody else are just like buying presents and choosing to be with their family. It's like not that big of a deal.
No, nobody cares. And also, I think a lot of people on the left are Christian.
Yeah, I think there are people on the left
A
who
lot.
are. Yeah, it's just like, that kind of goes with an idea that I was raised with, that there were true Christians and fake Christians.
I hate that so much.
Like, and it was based on doctrine. So
That's so
if you or anybody grew up in a church that was like really fundamentalist and really evangelical, there was always the implication that the other churches, the other sects, didn't have it quite right, like we did, you know?
It's so divisive.
Yeah.
And so superior. And it just creates the perfect setup for narcissism. Not that I'm saying you're not, you know, people who've been in that are narcissists, but like this guy
Yeah.
clearly has some personality disorder issues, not diagnosing, but it just sets you up for a really disordered way of viewing the world. And by that, I mean not accurate to the way that healthy people relate to each other, which is not from like hierarchy or better than or like right and wrong, but from understanding and cooperation and consent and working together for the good of all people. Isn't that what Christmas is supposed to be about?
No. It's a supernatural time of year that...
Where Christ comes out of my chest like fucking alien. There's a thing that's moving within me. What is that? Christ is moving inside of me and creating discord, and then he comes out like the alien.
Happy birthday!
It's like little Christ hands.
He's like... It's the most wonderful time! Also, what I really... This might be my least favorite part of the whole article, because he's thrown in assumptions throughout this whole time that the leftists are just partying until they're drunk and cheating on their spouses every Christmas. Mm-hmm. And so he kind of wraps up that sentiment here. If you choose to worship the counterfeit, be prepared for a giant letdown. Just look at last year. ... Who does he think is reading MarioMurillo.org? Like, anybody reading this is already on his side, and he fucking knows that.
Yeah.
Which is why he can write a sentence like that, and he knows that the reader and the audience is not like, oh man, he really called me out there. Yeah, if I think about last year, it really gets me. It's like, no. He is in on the joke with the audience, and they're laughing at other people. They're like, just look at last year. Those idiots.
It's like continued propaganda, Christian propaganda.
Yeah. And it reinforces the audience view that like, oh yeah, I bet they had a horrible last year at Christmas. I'm glad I celebrated this way.
It's just also the moralism. It just hit me hearing you share about that too, because Christians cheat on their spouses, I think, probably at the same rate as non-Christians. If I had to guess, I mean, I don't have statistics. Maybe you can do research for your video.
I would love
But of the sample size I have,
I would guess.
I would maybe guess.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like this moralistic division between like good and bad, and it's complete bullshit.
Yeah. Instead, this year, follow the instructions found in the carol, Hark, the herald angels sing. The angels will invite you to join the triumph of the skies. Join the ultimate triumph with a simple prayer. Ask Christ to give you the ultimate gift of eternal life right now. Lauren Green put it this way.
Who the fuck is Lauren Green?
I have no clue. We might be singing chestnuts roasting on an open fire, but the warmth and comfort that we're seeking through that song is really our heart crying out for God.
To God.
Oh. Crying out to God. Why so many Christmas songs? He really does think that Christmas music is the best music in the world. He used so many examples.
Oh, I feel like I'm reading the mind of a 17-year-old. The emotional maturity and mind of a 17-year-old.
Yeah. Also, I thought that Lauren Green's quote was going to go a very different direction. She's like, we might be singing chestnuts roasting on an open fire, but check out these nuts! But I'm really left with just more confusion. Like, I feel like he never wrapped up his ideas, and he thought he had a couple really good, like, force or farce, some editorially interesting phrases, but he really let me down with the content.
He did. Well, I didn't have any better expectations than that, TBH.
I wonder if there are comments. Ruben Montoya says, "Thank you, Mario, for your wonderful, true description of Christmas. I pray that you and your family are blessed more than you can dream or imagine. Merry Christmas, space L, exclamation point."
Merry Christmas, I.
What is it? "I pray that you and your family are blessed more than you can dream or imagine." It's like really getting visceral in here.
It's like some Lawrence Fishburne over there.
"Very well written, brother. I pray that the world would discover the real joy of Christmas." Okay, Colin.
In your pants.
Word.
Sorry, I just wonder what happened if we did. What if we did that? You know, you do that with the fortune cookie. Oh no!
In the bedroom or in the bed.
In bed.
In bed. Yeah. All right, let's try it.
Okay.
"Very well written, brother. I pray that the world would discover the real joy of Christmas.
In bed.
And the wise still seek Jesus. Emmanuel, God with us.
In bed.
Wishing you and your family a joy-filled Christmas."
In bed. It gets so bad.
As always, Mario, thank you for putting to black and white only like you can.
In bed.
Christ is the reason for the season.
In bed.
We wish for you and your loved ones a very blessed and Christ-filled Christmas.
In bed. That was a good one.
What about people who doesn't believe in Christmas? Roxanne luckily has an answer. "Tell them about Jesus." I don't know. So, that's Mario and taking the Christ out of Christmas, leading to the ultimate letdown.
Look,
What?
it is a wrestler mask.
Oh.
It looks just like a wrestling mask.
Oh my God, he's a luchador.
He's a luchador. He's a luchador for Jesus.
Nice, I like that.
That's why he knows about the ultimate letdown.
And on that note, we'll leave you all with a Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa if you celebrate Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate Hanukkah. Happy Yule if you're a little witch out in the woods celebrating Yule. And happy winter solstice turn around towards the light of the sun and into a good year. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Happy holidays to everybody else who I may have missed. I don't have a detailed record of all the holidays that are happening right now in my brain, but I did my best. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. The Christmas special. I don't know what I'm gonna call this yet, but it's gonna have Christmas special or something. Cringy Christians Christmas.
Cringy Christian Christmas.
It's a jumping off point. If you made it this far and you like this video, please press, dang it, every time with this, please press like and subscribe, and please consider following me and supporting me on Patreon. Thank you, Elle, for joining me again for another stupid article. I promise we'll do one with some interesting, funny videos next time.
Okay, well, thanks for having me.
Yes, and would you like to plug yourself again?
I'm Chris's partner, and I am a coach. I'm a certified sex, love, and relationship coach. I'm getting my trauma resolution certification as well. And I like humans. I enjoy the human experience. That's why I'm here.
Yes.
Exploring the deep, dark depths with you.
Of Mario Murillo's mind. So if that sounds interesting to you, I will put your Instagram on the screen and in the description box below. Any final thoughts or words?
No, I think we've really said it all.
All right. It's getting real hot in here, so I think it's time to go.
Cool.